Chapter 5 In Camelot. So Bayard's court travelled from the Britain's lost lands into the heart of Uther's kingdom. 2 days and 1 night they travelled, setting up camp with haste. But respectability Bayard's wife, Queen Scylla and their daughter, Ines travelled with him and, after the Mercen guard, was Elund. Not alone, of course. The Britons walked behind the company. They were important, particularly if the company stopped in the lands that were not say. Britons who believed none could speak their tongue might let down their guard and betray secrets in the false belief they were not understood. Do you think it will be mighty, or some kind of large hovel? A woman beside her asked Elund. She was called Seren, and just as beautiful as a nighttime star. She was also very acerbic in her observations. Elund smiled. We shall soon see, Elund replied as they walked. You don't talk much, Seren observed. I am a maid to one of the Queen's ladies in waiting. You work in the kitchens. I work in the kitchens, the stables, the middens, Elund replied. And it's where I'll work again when I get to Camelot. And, if Lancelot made his way there, then I will find him. So, why did you leave Wales? Seren asked, using the say word for the land of the Britons. And now for the bending of truths. Because Elund liked the anonymity the kitchens provided her. Not that she had found any hint of a woman known as Ileri, or anyone she knew. But, perhaps, I was looking for my family, and I needed somewhere to survive. My mother was Briton, and I was sent to her family. And you believe your father was say? Seren finished, her bright, brown hair absorbing the autumn sun. I am told I look say, Elund replied. Which was true, and was a good enough answer. You do, Seren told her. Not many bright, fair-haired boys are born to Welsh women. Do you have a say name too? I'm Aeled, Elund told her. And you are Seren. You know my name then, Seren laughed. Be careful. The Queen does not like her ladies-in-waiting talking to the staff. And that goes for you, too? The maids. They rounded a bend and the royal party could be better seen. Seren pointed a slim finger ahead. See the lady with the butter-blonde hair? Elund nodded. She is Lady Horsa. That is, she is married to Lord Horsa. If I were so much as to sit and talk to you at supper tonight, I would find myself on laundry duty for the rest of this excursion. Well, happily, unless she knows the Briton tongue, she would never find out. Elund smiled as the older Briton woman gave Aeled a quizzical look. We are supposed to be on the listen out for anyone speaking Cymraeg. We would potentially be discussing that, were bandits, or other such people who spoke the Briton tongue, to cross our path. It took a moment, and feet scraping on stony earth, and cartwheels crumpling stones even smaller, for Seren to understand. She smiled and, Elund thought, it was like opening a window to find the brilliant sun on a summer's morn radiate all over her face. Let's help we find a Briton, then. 88,888,888. Camelot was not as Elund had imagined. What was in her mind when Lancelot? She had overheard him discuss this with Owain. She did not know. Tall, vast, imposing, yes. Brilliant white stone, knights in steel armor and enough cloth to keep the ladies in Bayard's court dressed for the rest of their lives was not it. But, the fatal section aid soon diminished when she was guided towards the kitchens and directed tasks within it. The moron, stupid, said one of the taller boys, clearly enjoying seeing his tasks evaporate before his eyes as in traipsed Elund and half a dozen other kitchen servants. They had fallen on their feet, their jobs reduced, and this one was not above mocking the incoming say. You what? Elund said, in Britain. Moron, the boy repeated, having no idea that Elund could not only understand Cymraeg, but could dish it out too. Not only that, Saxon had given them clear instructions not to do anything in Camelot without his express permission. Food was a gateway to any number of poisons. He did not wish the say kitchen staff to be in a position they could poison the king and the royal household, particularly if the language was to be a challenge. These, are you looking for? Elund asked the older boy, holding up a bunch. She strode over in his direction. Not a chance was she and the people she worked with going to be conned by a bunch of lazy wretches. These? She insisted. The boy, to his credit, nodded. They should have been peeled and chopped half an hour ago, and simmering, Elune thrust the bunch at the lad, who got to his feet from the windowsill. "There is not a chance this side of Sabbath tide that she swung her arm in an arc, or any of the servants before you, are going to do any of your work, you lazy BWLCH. Aeled," called Saxon, pacing over the flagstone floor. "I know some Cymraeg, and I know what you have said is not polite. They want us to do their jobs." Elune told him in say, outraged. Several of the other Saxon servants looked at one another, understanding now why Aeled was so angry. "That will not be necessary. Rodri and I know each other." He frowned, and took the back of Elune's tunic. "And, if I ever hear you speak to any of the staff in Camelot like that again, no matter that you are the chosen ones," he gripped her tighter, "then you will be beginning King Bayard's offer of leaving his court with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?" "Yes, Saxon," Elune managed, feeling the linger of the Briton boy's mocking gaze on her face. "You anger too readily," Saren told her, when she came down to the kitchen with 2 trays that had come from 2 of the ladies-in-waiting who had not travelled well, and another from Princess Ines. It was, Elune reflected a day later, as she bit her tongue against the Briton boy's goading, because she was trying to find out about her brother, and her cryptic inquiries, omitting his name from her questions, had brought about practically nothing. The matter of food would be a sticking point in Elune's mind after Bayard's party had eventually left Camelot, as would the memory of Uther Pendragon, her first sight of the man who had scoured her village of their druid, and Matthew, whose idea of raising taxes from poor people was to spend them on lavish fabrics to beautify his home. The next day too would be memorable for another reason. All right, Elune would admit, as she lay on the cold earth under icy stars beside a man she would care to love the most in the entirety of her life, for Bayard was about to be accused of putting the peace treaty between Mercia and Camelot in permanent jeopardy by poisoning Prince Arthur with a petal from the mortuous flower.